Well, now let's dive deep into this big LGBT story for today. I'm Al Ferguson, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Mark Kent celebrates his 10th anniversary as Executive Director of the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida. This month, Mark Kent celebrates a decade as Executive Director of the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida. Since joining in May of 2015, Kent has led the business side of the organization, helping grow its annual budget to over $1 million and expanding its reach to more than 30,000 people each year. With over 35 years of experience in arts education and community programs, Kent previously held leadership roles at the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra, at Cobb Energy Performing Arts Center, and other programs like that. His leadership continues to shape GMCSF as a regional treasure and a national voice in LGBTQ and choral arts. The GMCSF, Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida, has grown under Mark's leadership into one of the world's largest LGBTQ cultural performing arts organizations. Mark is with us in studio to celebrate this incredible and important milestone. So first, Mark, congratulations.
Thank you. I made
10 years, right? I am one that always makes jokes. People in community make jokes at hotspots happening out of me on age. I won't make an age joke unless it's a funny age joke.
Okay, you can.
No.
We got to laugh, right?
Yeah, exactly. I want to start in talking about this journey. It's such an interesting time for us. So the first thing I'm interested in is 10 years. It's a big milestone. In gay years, it's 10, but in everyone else's, that's like 30 in survivability. What's the 10 years been like for you?
It's been, I think a journey is a good word to describe it, because we started in one place and we've progressed to where we are today. And like a lot of journeys, I didn't go it alone. I've encountered so many wonderful people along the path, and they've inspired me, have enriched me, and really have fueled me to keep going year after year. And then ultimately seeing the impact that the chorus makes in the community, that's the payback I get.
Yeah. It's interesting to me, I think very interesting, because you became executive director in May of 2015. Now, everybody knows exactly where I'm going with on this question. It was just 1 month later that one of the greatest moments in American LGBT history happens, and that is the Supreme Court makes marriage equality the law of the land. And by the way, everything ended. We got everything we wanted. We never needed anything else after June. Well, wait, maybe not. But you launched your journey in this exact same time period of leading the GMCSF. What were those initial days, like that first 90 days? You're definitely in honeymoon. You're in the first 100 days of your position, and marriage equality gets legal from the Supreme Court. The White House becomes a rainbow. Worldwide celebration, and you as executive director of the Gay Men's Chorus. What were those days 10 years ago like?
Well, as we know, South Florida is one of the meccas for the LGBT community, and to have something like that occur nationally, it had really, really strong impacts on our life down here in South Florida. It just so happens we had a concert the week after marriage equality became a reality for our community, and we packed it to the rafters. We were at Bailey Hall. We were picketed, but we did our concert.
The chorus was picketed. The concert.
Oh yeah.
In Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Oh my, that's just unbelievable. And the time in that first 100 days, you went through the picket, all of the celebration in America and worldwide. Did you have any perspective as the new executive director? You had lots of experience, as I indicate in your introduction, but did you have any indication of where the chorus was really going to go over the next 10 years? You started in that milestone. You're celebrating the milestone 10 years later. Was your crystal ball good enough to see this is where we're going to take the chorus in South Florida?
It was not good enough.
Yeah.
I was hopeful, and I was surrounded by people who were full of ambition and big dreams, and I was fueled by that. I wanted to feed into those dreams and do everything I could to make them a reality. So I found that this community was eager and willing to support a chorus like this. So I really took the helm with a sense of, well, let's take this where it's going to go and see what happens.
You know, as exciting of those first 100 days, not to be negative, but I have to talk about today also in relation to this anniversary. It's 10 years later. And now we're living with DeSantis and LGBTQ grant cancellations that the chorus has faced here in Florida. We're dealing with a president in the White House who is in the heart of the greatest elimination of diversity, equity, and inclusion we've probably ever seen. And certainly, I'm a contemporary of yours in age, that we've ever seen in our life. What are the days today? You're celebrating your 10th anniversary. What is it like for you and the chorus today, given the adversaries we face?
You know, it's interesting because there's such a contrast between how it feels today versus the time period you just mentioned, which is when I started. That was such a celebratory time, and we really felt we were on this trajectory up in terms of securing our rights and our equality in society. Now I'm surrounded by wonderful people who are inspired, but they're also afraid, you know, and we're holding our breath to see what's going to be chipped away and taken from us next. But we're determined. We're also stubborn that we're not going to let it.
That fear, that afraid that you talk about, does that include members of the chorus? Do you you feel the fear in the chorus itself?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've even had a member of the chorus accosted on the streets in Wilton Manor with somebody who literally went right up to his face and showered anti-LGBT slurs and ugliness all over him verbally, so much so it frightened him, and he withdrew from the chorus.
Oh my, that's a terrible story. I'm sorry to hear that. It just means that we've got to work harder. You've got to work harder. You're the executive director. Yes. We charge the leadership to you. Speaking of the members of the chorus, let's talk about them for a moment. The chorus is made up. If you haven't been to a Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida concert, you're missing it. I've been to many, many, many. It's wonderful because while you may be full of divas, your divas aren't getting paid any money. So they're volunteering their efforts. And there's over 180 volunteer performers. They always strike me as so dedicated and passionate and, well, proud. What drives the enthusiasm of members to participate in a voluntary basis? I've heard so many times that being a member of the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida is as great a political statement as advocating at the task force or the HRC. What motivates your members?
Well, they really want to make a difference. They love to sing. You know, but they can love to sing and sing at home by themselves in the shower. But singing to make a difference is really important to them. That's why they put in all the hours and the time. They're eager to get their song out so that it reaches the ears of our audiences. They love feeling the way that the audience responds and is moved and inspired and uplifted by what they do. And you're right, we are a visible, positive representation of the LGBT community. Our messages of love and inclusion are more important now than they ever have been. And I have one of my brothers even said to me, said, if I had a small child that I wanted to introduce to the LGBT community, where would we go? Mm-hmm. You know, where would we go? And he said, we would go to a Gay Men's Chorus concert.
Mm-hmm. That's a lovely story. When we do a celebration of a milestone like this, 10 years of your leadership of one of the greatest LGBT cultural institutions in America, performance arts organizations in America. There's good times, there's bad times. I'm always curious about both. Over your last 10 years, what has been your greatest single disappointment? 10 years, it was that moment. Is there a moment like that?
Oh yeah, I mean, it easily had to be COVID. We had our annual gala fundraiser 4 days before everything shut down, and having to deal with this health departments, contacting donors, people who came to the event to support us, and let them know that somebody at the event was positive with COVID, and we knew nothing about it at the time. Mm-hmm. it was terrifying. We didn't know if we would ever sing again.
For audience members that might not know that story, it led tragically to deaths, didn't it?
Yeah.
And did you wonder would the chorus survive that?
Yeah, I wondered if people were going to forgive the chorus for being in a situation that was dangerous. Fortunately, they didn't let their fear take hold, and they realized there was no way any of us could have known anything about what was really going on at that time.
It was nobody's responsibility.
It was nobody's responsibility. But it was one of those things. So,
were you able to work through the guilt of that time period, though? As executive director, it's not your responsibility, but you're human. Were you able to work through that, or are you still working through that? Or
no, I very much came to terms with the fact that we never know what's going to happen when we walk out of our door on a daily basis. In this instance, for that poor individual, it happened to be the virus. For someone else, it could be a car wreck. It could be something beyond their control that impacts their life and takes it.
Yeah, I'm Gloria Gaynor is playing in my head right now, and I'm glad you were able to survive it. That's the most difficult in the 10 years. But let's flip it. What has been the single greatest moment for you in the last 10 years?
You know, I think probably when we attend the Gala Festival, which is the huge gathering of LGBT choruses from all over the country, but really many from other countries as well. And having our ensemble show up and be treated with such respect. Now, I actually came down with COVID and couldn't go, but I watched the performances online.
To Minneapolis or the one before?
Minneapolis.
Oh.
And of course, was rabidly connected with everyone there. And my colleagues at the other choruses were reaching out to me to celebrate how wonderfully we were doing, not just singing, but also in terms of connecting and bringing a new energy to the Gala chorus movement. It was, for me, I was so proud that outside of our own community, on a national level, we were recognized and celebrated the way we were.
You know, it's interesting to those who have not been to a gay men's chorus concert. You must. There's still some opportunity in this season, especially in June Pride Month. I have to tell you, Mark, sitting outside the chorus, I can make the observation, there's really a big 5 or a big 6 or maybe a big 7, Boston and Washington and San Francisco, etc. But South Florida is right in that inner circle of the best in the entire world. You must be very proud of that.
Oh, I'm incredibly proud. You know, our current artistic director, Gabe Salazar, he's a remarkable human being and a gifted artistic director and music director. And we have amazing board and leadership, and of course our dedicated singers. I'm proud that all of that has come together in a way that creates magic, and that we have reached the level of accomplishment that we have.
You know, you mentioned Gabe, the music director here at Sunshine, doing a fabulous job. But for me, I would say in the time that I've been here 7 years, that is representation of probably one of the greatest successes for you and the chorus. You had an iconic creative director of the Gay Men's Chorus. I mean, literally in America, iconic. And the transition of a choral director can be traumatic on an organization. And not only did you celebrate that transition, someone else comes in and proves it's not a one single person, it's our overall organization. And Gabe has proven the organization is going to be great, period. And to me, that is representation of tremendous leadership and tremendous success of the chorus. Do you agree with that idea?
Oh, no, I would definitely agree with it. Artistic director changing out is like a church having their pastor or their minister change out, or restaurant having their chef change. Those who come after will bring a different flavor, a different approach, their own personal style. But when you make the right match with culture and beliefs and values, they bring the talent in a way that elevates versus causing any setbacks.
Yeah. I can't have you here at Choir News tonight without talking about the future. The chorus, like most cultural institutions here in South Florida, have a season, and our season's getting ready to end. Your season is a little longer because we have June Pride Month, as opposed to the ballet or the symphony orchestra, etc. So we still have more to celebrate, and let's look at a couple of things. Up next is a concert called Simply Sondheim. Of course, every gay man, every LGBT person loves Stephen Sondheim. And you have a concert on Saturday, May 17th at Fort Lauderdale's United Church of Christ. And it's your specialty chorus. Tell us a little bit about what's happening there.
Sure. Our specialty chorus is called Tropical Wave, and they're an ensemble of about 20 singers. They put in extra time, work on music that's unique to them, and they're auditioned to be in that group in a way that helps ensure that they're incredibly capable and competent. And they come together and produce their own sound and their own approach to music in a way that is really extraordinary. I think.
They're fun to watch. They incorporate numbers in the main concerts through the year. They're just fun to watch and highly specialized. And then, of course, we have June Pride Month. And one of the things that we would mention that Hotspots and Happening Out is participating. We're helping you with a major fundraiser. We're participating in a raffle of a $28,000 trip to Peru. You've got to look at it online. It's quite amazing. It's the partnership between Hotspots Happening Out and Stonewall Pride. Tell me about the idea of doing a fundraiser as unique as going to Peru. Unique and different for a course, but I imagine you have to figure out ways to raise money in every possible way possible.
We can leave no stone unturned in this day and age. And what I like about this is the partnership aspect of it, and we're so incredibly grateful to be a beneficiary of that effort. But it's a good example of how when we come together in our community and work together towards a common cause of good, we can make great things happen.
Yeah, and it's tied with, of course, Hotspots Happening Out puts on Stonewall Pride. Make sure you're there. June 14th, Saturday, June 14th, a big parade and celebration in Wilton Manors. And then the following Saturday, the 21st, is your signature event of the entire calendar year, and that is the June Pride concert. And I love the title of it. It's called Dazzling Divas. I mean, if we could be any gayer, we just couldn't possibly be any gayer. It's going to be at the Parker, June 21st. Tell me about what's happening there.
Well, it's so funny because people think of a gay men's chorus and they think that we don't embrace those who identify as female in our community and in society, but that's completely untrue. And Dazzling Divas really is a nod to so many of the women entertainers who got us on the dance floor.
Cher,
oh yeah,
Bette Midler, Barbara Streisand.
Yeah, decades upon decades of them, and we've got a great lineup of amazing music done by amazing women, and many of them have been very vocal advocates for the LGBT community, so they deserve to be celebrated as part of our heritage.
Yeah, and you can get tickets. We're going to tell you about how to do that. You don't want to miss it. One of the things that's amazing about the chorus is, as fun as this Pride celebration concert with Dazzling Divas is going to be, the last concert that I went to was at Sunshine Performing Arts Center, and you did the Black History Month program, and that was one of the finest programs I've ever seen the chorus do. And it was completely unexpected. And to be honest with you, I went to that concert going, gosh, I hope it's going to be Dazzling Divas. And it definitely wasn't, and it was just beautifully done. I walked away from it just overwhelmed at the impact that gay men and an LGBT chorus voice could have in dealing with a subject as difficult as that. It was absolutely beautiful. I can't let you go, Mark, without talking about sponsors. We talked about the beginning being so great and what you're facing now in year 10. And sponsors is a big issue. In a time when we are watching Targets and Budweisers and other major corporations step back away from LGBT community embracement, it's one of the issues that definitely affects our LGBT organizations, our nonprofits, but also our performing arts organizations like the Gay Men's Chorus. And embracement for the GMCSF is never been more important. And lo and behold, you come out with a notice about an expanded relationship with the Seminole Hard Rock, which I think is interesting. A lot of people don't realize that the Seminole Tribe and our landmark Hard Rock, Seminole Hard Rock Hotel, owns all of the Hard Rocks in the entire world.
Yes.
This is a major corporation worldwide. And your holiday concert in December at Hard Rock Live is iconic. But let's break some news today, and having the opportunity of Mark being sitting here at Queer News Tonight. The Chic and Unique Ball, which is their largest fundraiser of the year, will return, and I'm breaking the news of it, Saturday, November 1st. And it's going to be called Step Into Burlesque. And I can just break out into share as I give you this breaking news. But the great thing about this breaking news, it is going to be the first time ever that it is hosted at the Seminole Hard Rock. That is amazing. That's different than a concert experience,
yes,
of gala fundraiser. That is an embracement from the corporate side of the company to say, you matter and we stand with you. Tell me about that.
Well, an annual gala like ours and like many organizations is important, really primarily to raise the funds we need to operate year-round. But it's also important to bring what I call our family, the clan, which includes our donors, our audiences, our singers, leaders in the community, all together in one place to celebrate the chorus and the impact we make. This relationship with Hard Rock is incredible, and for them to embrace us for our fundraiser says a lot about their commitment to diversity and serving a broader community.
Yeah, and we congratulate Seminole Hard Rock Live, the Gay Men's Chorus. It's a very unique partnership that means a whole lot to our entire community right now. One final question, Mark. I'm often asked about prides and parades. I broadcast the parade with Faye at Stonewall, our nonprofits, and I'm asked frequently, why is all of this so important today for LGBT? We've arrived, we're accepted. Why is it important? So I ask you, today, your 10th anniversary here in May of 2025, why is the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida important to our community today?
Because we are seeing a huge rise in populations that want to silence us. And at a time when people are trying to stifle our voice, it's more important that we sing louder and prouder than ever and not let it bring us down. We're here to keep the joy. We're here to reinforce the pride. We're here to give our community strength and to show the rest of the world the best of the LGBT community.
Yeah, I think very well said. We're not going back into the closet.
Nope.
We're just not. Congratulations, Mark. Mark Kent, 10 years of anniversary at the Gay Men's Chorus. It is a major and important achievement. And you can learn more about the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida, all kinds of information about them at GMCSF.org. Support them, buy concert tickets, buy raffle tickets, but most importantly of all, stand up and voice support for them and that our community matters. All you have to do is sing. That's it. Well, that is a big LGBT story for today. Thank you, Mark Kent. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBT stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News.